Yeah, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati and we all got
Go.
And welcome to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Jim Coyle's with you as always. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and ready for a great week. Hope we can get it started for you to get you headed in that direction. Got Justin Kalen with me as always, high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Hope we got a big one today on the show. Don Fischer joins us for the last time this year. Well, not this year, but this season. So this get your Don Fischer kick, and it's going to be the last time for a while. We got a lot to talk about, man. Besides Don on the show, Drew Davis will be with us, but lots to talk about. The NCAA games. There's so much IU sports over the weekend. Let's get to the headlines with Justin first, and we'll get to it.
All right, here are your headlines, your Daily Hoosier headlines for this first day of April 2019, as it was a good weekend for Indiana baseball. They lost the first game against Maryland 2-0 and then came back with two huge wins, outscoring the Terrapins 39-13 in a 2-1 series win. They moved the record up to 17-10 on the season, 5-1 in Big Ten play. Indiana softball also with a good weekend as they get a huge 3-0 shutout over Michigan State, moving their mark up to 28-10 overall, 3-3 in Big Ten play. Good weekend for Indiana swimming and diving as Vinny Lanzo wins the 100-meter butterfly, first since Mark Spitz way back in 72, as he does it with a school record time of 44.37. 3-meter dive also won this weekend by Andrew Capobianco, as he's the first Hoosier to win the award in 38 years. Indiana forward sophomore basketball player Clifton Moore announces he will transfer from Indiana. C.J. Blackman, the brother of James Blackman Jr., will also transfer. And finally, the Final Four is set as Auburn and Texas Tech make their first appearance, and they will join Virginia in the Final Four. Those are a look at your Daily Hoosier headlines on this first day of April 2019. For more information, be sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
Man, I thought you were going to run out of breath on that one. That was a long, lot of stuff
big
going
headline.
on.
Michigan State also in the Final Four. Sorry, forgot that one.
What'd you give, a Final Three?
I did.
I didn't even notice. Wow, what a round of NCAA games. Possibly the greatest second weekend ever. These games were all I can't remember. Well, there were 8 games, so I can't remember all of them. But every one that I saw was a tight game. Everything was coming down to the wire. I mean, either going to overtime or wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to Purdue and who were they playing?
Tennessee.
Texas Tech?
Tennessee, the first game.
Well, they beat Tennessee.
Yeah, and then they played...
Which was a game in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, they're up 18. They cough up the lead. I think that they're going to choke by epic proportions, even by Purdue standards. But they are able to pull that win out, which was a big win. Then, of course, they run up against Texas Tech and Chris Beard, another former coach of Bob Knight, who he was and I don't want to make a ton of that because Bob Knight's only coach. He was not the only coach he was an assistant for, but he was an assistant at Texas Tech for 7 years under Knight. Very big deal. Yeah. But congratulations to them. Texas Tech going to their first ever Final Four. Duke, not going to happen.
Nope.
Not going to happen for the Dukies as Michigan State and Tom Izzo takes them back. Do you know what Tom Izzo's record is against Duke now?
I know it's not very good, is it?
2-11.
Yeah.
Now. That's after yesterday's win. But a huge win. Wow. I mean, you talk about the epitome of the one-and-done era teams. That was Duke yesterday.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson and Barrett. They've got 3 top 5 picks and possibly 4 first-round picks.
Couldn't even get to the Final Four.
Well, I mean, now does that mean Mike Krzyzewski can no longer coach? I mean, I'm sure Indiana fans, or a section of the Indiana fans base, must think he can no longer coach. He's terrible. They should fire him. What is Duke thinking? They should fire Mike Krzyzewski. He can't win a national championship with that kind of talent. Are you kidding me? What a joke. What a terrible coach. If you're listening, you most people know I'm being completely facetious right now.
Yeah.
That's just the point. For one thing, in college basketball, nobody's invincible. That was as good a talented team as there has been in college basketball in a long time for a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. 3 top 5 picks. That says all you need to hear there.
4 first-round picks, probably.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that you need time to get a program up and running, you're nuts. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Now, does Coach K, do you think he continues to attack the one-and-dones until that rule changes, or do you think he goes back to, let me get these 4-year guys that I've had so much success with? Because he kind of adapted his coaching style in getting these one-and-dones.
Well, that's a great question because, and here's why. You've got 2 or 3 years left in the one-and-done era. Maybe 2, could be 3. It's up to the NBA to change this rule. Now, that means you've got 2 or 3 more years of this, of having the top talent spend a year in college. Do you start preparing for that 3rd year or that 4th year, whenever that first year of the is, so you're ready? By ready, I mean having juniors and seniors, having upperclassmen mixed in with some talent. Because if you don't, you're going to be way behind because you're not going to have one-and-dones and you're not going to be ready. Yeah. So it's a good question. I mean, I think that they have to try to find a way to mix that, and it's a delicate balance. You've got to have the players you need to have, a la a Rob Finney 3 years from now, 2 years from now, mixed in with some exquisite talent at the time. I still think you're going to have to mix it.
Exquisite.
Hey, hit us. Yeah, exquisite. Hey, like or follow us on Facebook. You can follow the show. If you can't catch us live, you can catch us rebroadcast in a podcast version on Apple Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, any place you find a podcast. You can also find us live on the dailyhoosier.com, indianasportsbeat.com, and thegruelingtruth.net. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB. Hit us up on the text line. Let us know what your thoughts or questions are. 812-269-6367. You guys getting rain down there?
Not really. No, we did this weekend.
I was going to say, Joker sent in a text that the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning for the city of Jefferson, effective from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday, April 1st. Guess what?
April Fools.
April Fool? I don't know. That's why I asked if it was raining.
That's why I don't like this. April 1st always gets me because I never know when anyone's serious.
Yeah, well.
No rain in the forecast.
Now, the big announcement, I guess, Romeo announced that he's staying. Did you see that?
I did not. For real?
Wow, well, you should have.
How did I miss that?
Jack leg.
Oh, my
April
God.
Fool.
God dang it! That's what I was just saying. That's why I hate this freaking day. I hate April Fools.
Man, I followed right up with it.
God, no kidding. What an idiot.
Wow, just laid that up big old softball.
I even searched his name on Twitter after you said that.
Boy, man, those games, though, they were all, I've been waiting to bust that out. I was like, I'm almost afraid to because some of them, I'm like, oh, my God, somebody will take that and run.
Exactly.
They'll hear they'll hear the first 4 words, and they don't even want to hear anything else. They're running to Facebook or whatever. Jim Coyle says Romeo is staying. Not going to happen.
Oh, that's great.
Did you notice? I saw a post over the weekend from Jordan Bohannon. It was actually retweeted by Jay Billis, but it was a picture of one of the NCAA rugs, just an NCAA tournament rug that they have placed in the locker rooms, apparently. And I saw the post. Then Jordan Bohannon said, NCAA, you can have your rug back. It is secured and safe when you start allowing us to make money off of our own names and likenesses. Dave Billis found that amusing and retweeted it. I thought it was kind of funny. Then today, in the Wall Street Journal, March Madness souvenirs are a little too hot. What's black and blue and walked all over? The hottest souvenir at the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Rugs with the March Madness logo on them. Laid out in every team locker room of the sprawling nationwide tournament. Have become the most coveted item of the postseason. There are 3x5 little carpets. They're not for sale, which make them even more desirable. They're part of the NCAA's effort to make sites more homey. If you've noticed, every site looks the same.
Yeah.
It looks like they've went and purchased their own floors to send to all these sites, so they have the exact same everything on them, with the exception of the top in the middle of where they are. Everything else is the exact same, so it looks the same. But they do it everywhere. They do it in the locker rooms. Everything's the same. So they were putting those rugs in. Well, everybody's stealing the rugs.
Nice.
They got they're officially supposed to stay put, but among tournament participants, there is a fair amount of confusion about the rules. A thirst for unique keepsakes, along with self-consciousness about pocketing free stuff, has prompted players and staff to sneak some rugs out the door.
What is wrong with people?
What do you mean what's wrong with them? I do this. That's funny.
You do the same?
What? It's a rug.
Yeah.
From the NCAA. Oh, yeah, they're poor. I forgot. They don't have any money.
I just don't know if I would take a rug. I mean, I guess if it's cool and you like it, and you're not.
It's like a little 3x5. Yeah, it's a little 3x5 deal. It says March Madness on it. Yeah, they're one of a. I mean, not one of a kind, but I mean, you can't buy them.
Right.
Anyway, I just think the whole thing is funny because of really, they'd probably could get in trouble for it because it's an extra benefit.
Right.
It's a joke, really.
But in reality, it could be serious. I mean, they could probably pop them for that. They won't, but they
After
could.
Purdue and beat Villanova in the second round last week at the XL Center at Hartford, Connecticut, Boilermakers guard Ryan Klein rolled up the March Madness rug in the locker room and made it as far as the hallway. I thought it would be a really cool souvenir to take home, Mr. Klein said, but a security guard was like, no, you can't take it. Somebody from Florida State tried to, and we wouldn't let him. An FSU official confirmed that the Seminoles were denied.
That's funny.
When Mr. Klein was asked on Friday if he would try to take a rug after Purdue's Elite 8 game against Virginia, he laughed. That would be cool, but I don't want to go 0 for 2, he said. That would be a little embarrassing. Man, you got to be smarter than that.
Yeah. Put it in your bag.
After Texas Tech went over Michigan on Thursday, Red Raiders forward Tariq Owens said he admired the rug the moment he set foot in the Honda Center locker room. I want it, he said. I ain't going to lie. I'm plotting on it.
Out of all
he leaned
things,
over
a rug?
and stroked the fibers. It's a great rug. I'm surprised they don't give those as gifts now since they're so popular.
All right. Probably should.
But the thing is, though, if they were gifts, it wouldn't be as cool.
I mean, it's almost like drinking before you're 21. You enjoy it so much because there's a little risk involved.
Exactly.
If they're giving you the rug, it's not as cool because there's no risk in getting that rug.
Yeah, they're kind of cool looking. That's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread the text from Joker. He said that flood service warning, that is because that'll be during Kentucky roll call when the tears will be flowing.
Okay. I knew it had to do something with Kentucky, but I couldn't put it together. It's a good call.
Yeah, got it figured out there, Joker. We got a lot coming up. We have got a lot to talk about. We got to get to those games. There were some great ones. We've got Don Fischer on the show today. Drew Davis will be with us. We'll be right back with more right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This hour of Indiana Sports Beat is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. With hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza,
Welcome back to
burger,
Indiana Sports
beer.
Beat. Thanks a lot for joining us and taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Here on this Monday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Got a great people out and about. Hope you're one of them. Good friend Nicholas running around town today. We got all kinds of fun things happening. Lots of basketball action. The NCAA Tournament. What was your favorite game?
It was likely a tie. It's tough to decide between Purdue, Tennessee, Purdue, Virginia. But Purdue by far played the best 2 games this weekend, in my opinion. Played in them.
They lost. I can't say that. They lost.
They played in them, sorry.
Oh,
let me word that better.
How about Kentucky, Auburn?
That was a good game as well. That one was a lot of fun.
How about Duke, Michigan State?
Yep, same. Okay,
I mean,
all the games this weekend were great.
They were incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, was there one that wasn't?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, I didn't watch Virginia, Oregon on Thursday night, but.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, that was, the last 2 days
Phenomenal.
was probably the best Saturday, Sunday, second weekend, Saturday, Sunday I can remember. The games were exactly how they were supposed to be. Well, they were all chalk, except for the Oregon game to start with. But so then you just got, when you get into that, when you get into the 1 through the 4 seeds, it's just on. Yeah. It's just put them in a bag, mix them up, and pull one out. It doesn't matter. As you can see, with only one seed making it, doesn't mean jack.
And it should have been, honestly, probably been 0-1 seeds.
Very easily. Yeah. Very easily. This thing went from to chalk to whatever. But exciting, nonetheless, is the most important thing. Fun, exciting, great games. I don't know what else more you could ask for.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
at the
beginning. I was just saying that's with the one and done players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I was a little disappointed at the beginning of the tournament when we didn't get all those upsets we normally get. You didn't get a big standout performance. But if you've got to forego,
that was leading to better games.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you've got to forego that to get the Sweet 16 we got this weekend, I would probably trade that year in and year out.
As would I. I agree. I mean, those games were just freaking. Man, it's just 8. All 8 of those games were just good games.
Yeah.
Good teams. Look at the coaches at these institutions and how long they have been there.
Yeah.
You don't see any rookie coaches there. There's no coach in his second season, I don't believe. I mean, and you look at the Final Four, Chris Beard is the rookie, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a rookie, but
4th season.
That's at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
But how long has Bruce Pearl been at Auburn?
That's a great question. Let me see if I can't find that real quick.
But see, the thing is now, Bruce Pearl has been a D1 coach at a Power 5 school. Then you got Tom Izzo, of course. Who am I missing? Auburn, Texas Tech, Michigan State, and
Virginia.
Whom? Oh yeah, Virginia. Tony Bennett, who's been rumored big. They keep trying to link him to the UCLA job.
I kind of feel bad for Virginia. Tony Bennett's name comes up every single year, seemingly, for coaching jobs. Like, leave him alone.
It always happens, man.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not UCLA doing it. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see him going there. I don't know if his style would work at UCLA, man.
And that's what I'm thinking. He's been at Virginia for 10 years. He's had a lot of success. Now, are they going to their first Final Four under him? Absolutely. But he's had good teams every year. Guys have been right there. I can't see him leaving Virginia either, especially for a UCLA program. It's struggling.
But what's he got behind him? What's he got coming next?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you don't really know what the recruiting class entitles. I mean,
and when you say he's had success, they've had a good
tournament success,
but they have. Yeah, they got knocked out as the first all-time number 1 seed to get beat by 16 last year.
Yeah.
They made their first Final Four since Ralph Sampson in 1984.
Long time ago.
1984, dude. Indiana's last Final Four was 2002. So, everybody that cracks on Indiana, that really cracks me up. I don't care how long ago some of those banners were. They're still hanging. Yeah. All 5 of them. They've been to the NCAA Final Championship game 2002. You got Virginia, 1884. Purdue, never been to the championship game, I don't think. They've only been to the Final Four twice, and the last time was 1980. So people just got to chill, man. It'll come around. Nicholas bringing the coffee in.
Come on.
My man, Nick. Huh? Oh, my goodness. Nicholas is killing it today.
Sandwich coming, too?
Got a sandwich coming, too. You can't beat that. Can you beat that? No. Here at the Poindexter at the Graduate Hotel. It's nice. Warm coffee. How about that?
Gotta love it.
But, yeah, that was a funny text from Joker. The tears will be flowing. Nah. I saw a text from TJ Walker, the host, and he was congratulating Auburn and being very professional. Yeah. And, I mean, what are they going to do? They lost to a team, maybe the hottest team in the world. The fact they lost to Auburn, though, without their number one, their leading scorer, their best player, after one game, that's a little shocking. I got to be honest with you.
Well, they beat Auburn twice this season, and we always talk about just how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in 1 year.
Yeah, but usually that team doesn't lose their best player.
That's a good point as well.
Yeah. Although you could say the same thing happened to Indiana and Michigan State.
Yeah.
The first time Indiana beat Michigan State, they lose Juwan Morgan in the first half of the game at Michigan State. Go on to upset them. Then they come to Bloomington and they upset them again. And Michigan State, well, they've got as good a chance as anybody, but I think a little bit better to win the national championship. Now, how's that going to sit? Team that wins the national championship, Indiana beat them twice. Not once, twice.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
It's very possible. Very possible. I mean, it could have. They could have beaten. They should have beaten Purdue. Yeah. And if had Purdue made it, that would have been 2 Final Four participants Indiana had beaten.
Pretty crazy.
Shows you their up and down season. Craziness. Joker's texted in and said, "Go ahead and make fun of our dusty banners, but at least we have some to get dusty." You know, I'm not making fun of them. I guess he's talking about the people who do make fun of them.
Fans, yeah.
Clifton Moore, as Justin mentioned in the headlines earlier, he gone. No surprise there. Was the first transfer, but not the last. VJ Blackman, a walk-on, is transferring, which was not aware that walk-ons needed to transfer. I guess maybe there's rules involving it that I'm not aware of, but to me, they're just a student that's on the basketball team.
Yeah.
But I guess they have the same rules because they are officially on the team.
Well, and I mean, at the end of the day, walk-ons want to play too, and if he can go somewhere else and get a spot.
Oh, I'm not doubting. I'm not in any way poo-pooing his desire to transfer. Heck no, man. Hey, go get it. Go do whatever, brother. Go make it. Whatever makes. Absolutely. You usually don't see walk-ons transfer.
Right.
It's got to make you. But maybe he does want to play.
It's got to make you wonder though about Jalen Blackman coming up now. I mean, you had that brother tie there, and how's that going to work out now?
Well, and you know what? I wonder, was that not a ploy by Tom Crean back when he brought Jalen in, thinking of, or VJ when he brought VJ in, thinking of Jalen down the road? It seems a little bit. It seems like I'm giving Tom Crean a little bit too much credit, but it's possible. It's possible. Man. Hey, do we got to hit a? We're kind of off on because we have technical problems. We need to hit a break. We got to hit one. We got lots more coming up on the program today. Don Fischer is going to join us. It's his last visit with us for the season. We've got a lot to talk about. Final Four is set. Talk about these games over the weekend. Hey, how about USA basketball fantasy camp? We'll talk about that. And then IU sports were just all over the place this weekend. Track and field swim and dive, softball, baseball, football's in the way. Michael Avenatti, we got that stuff to talk about, all kinds of stuff. Stay with us. We got lots to get to here on Indiana Sports Beat. Back with more right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking us along for the ride on this Monday, April 1st. Hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend. We'll get you started on the right way on the week. Don Fischer's on the show today, as is Drew Davis and Peaks.com. Of course, I'm Jim Coyle with you as always. Justin Kalen high top the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Lots of action over the weekend. Indiana was in action. My gosh. every sports team they had, I think, and doing well. Track and field, great weekend out west in California. And how about the Indiana Swim and Dive program down in Austin? I think they're going to end up third overall.
Not bad.
Best finish in a long time to go along with, I think they have 4 national championships or 3. But some individual champions that you heard Justin talk about earlier. Vinny Lanza, great run. Yeah. IU softball over the weekend. Man, they crushed, and I mean crushed, Michigan State. I'm trying to pull up the my stats information because I went and watched them yesterday. First time I'd actually got to see them in action. But they win their first game, and of course then they played a doubleheader yesterday. They win the first game of that, 6-3. So then they were going for the sweep, and they left no doubt. They started off in the first inning and started crushing and didn't let up. I think they had 5 runs in the first inning. They only scored 1 in the second, but then they come back with 9 in the third inning.
What a game. Outscored them 34-13 this weekend.
It was nuts. 15 hits, 15 runs yesterday. It was crazy. They batted through the lineup. The first inning, they batted completely through the lineup. Third inning, they bat around again. I mean, I'm like, it was like watching a T-League game.
Michigan State that bad or Indiana that good?
They were just destroying. Indiana just was hitting the ball. Well, we obviously know that they've had a good season.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 19-5 right now. Tara Traynor gets the win. I don't think I'd want to bat against her. Of course, the baseball team also in Big Ten action this weekend as they were at Maryland. And they get the series win. They don't sweep. They lose the first game 2-0, but, man, they come back. Whoo, you talk about putting some runs on the board.
Here's what I asked somebody yesterday. How do you not score in the first game of a series and then come back in games 2 and 3 and score 20 and 19? That's unbelievable.
Freaking 40 runs in a baseball.
In 2 games.
Do you know how many teams or how many games most teams have to play to get 40 runs?
8 or 9, 10.
Gee whiz. I mean, and usually when an outbreak like that happens, you see it. You see it in Major League Baseball even. But you don't usually see it back to back.
No.
They're usually like, oh, boom, okay, there was this big thing. Oh, wow, they scored, 15 runs. They had 15 hits, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, they win, 20-5 on Saturday?
Yeah.
And almost the exact same score on Sunday, 19-4.
Yeah. Hell of a weekend.
It's nuts.
Gosh, I always forget this kid's name. The kid that's been killing it. He hit 3 homers on Saturday.
Oh, Grant Richardson?
Richardson, there you go, yeah. 3 homers.
Dude, he had 6 RBI, 3 home runs. He was 5 for 6 at the plate.
Lights out.
And he is the reigning Big Ten and freshman of the week. He's a freshman. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Good get for Indiana. Jeff Mercer.
He's got to be the Big Ten and freshman of the week again this week.
You would think, yeah.
Oh my gosh, and it's a Big Ten game too. And he didn't do that against a mid-major or anything.
Right.
That's in a Big Ten game. So I'd have to go back and see the entire weekend how much he crushed it. But I think he had a good game the day before that too. Yeah. Nuts. I mean, they are good. Good to see him doing well. Yeah. Good to see him. IU football, spring practice underway still. We've got 2 more weeks before a week from this Friday is the Cream and Crimson game at Memorial Stadium. Head on up for some spring football. The next day, Little 500 in Bloomington.
Good Bloomington weekend.
Holy moly. Holy moly. Yeah, that's something that you want to do. I did something crazy this week, and I went on a tour. I did. My daughter is a sophomore, Kylie, and she was invited. I invited her for a visit. They invite a group of sophomores, and we got to do the tour and all that stuff, which I had never done, even though I went to school here. I'm like going, man, I've never been in this building. It was amazing, some of the buildings I was in that I'm like, I've never been in this one. But, yeah, it was very interesting. It was weird, I got to say. It's weird seeing your kid looking at Indiana, my kid looking at Indiana.
Yeah.
Or just college in general, college.
Yeah.
Crazy, but fun. But hit us up on the text line like Joker has been. You got some texts as well?
I do, yeah. Tim texted in, said, just tuned in. I called it. UK can't win championship, even with the best players in the USA, because salesmen can't coach.
Well, if you got to say that, then what do you got to say about Mike Krzyzewski? This, I'm reading earlier, this loss will kind of stick with him, because there was an article saying that by Pete Thamel in Yahoo that this level of talent will never be brought about again because the one and done era is coming to an end. Well, no, it's because how often do you have that much talent on one team, period? I don't care. It just doesn't happen that much. I mean, Kentucky got close. They had John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins in that group. Man, that was a talented group of people.
Yeah, it was.
But with 2 or 3 years in the one-and-done era left, we talked about this earlier, yeah, that's coming to a close. That window is coming to a close. But what do those teams do? What do those one-and-done Kentuckys and Krzyzewski's do? I mean, Krzyzewski's shown that he can coach over the years. I don't know that Calipari's got a great record coaching when he does not have one-and-done players. But, of course, if you don't have talent, you can't win. I don't care who you are. You still got to have talent. Ask Archie Miller that.
Yeah, I was about to say, ask Archie.
Yeah. In Indiana, that Indiana team was a team devoid of talent. My man Nicholas, he is on it today. He's killing it. Oh, my God. Yeah. Thanks, Nicholas.
Tim with another text into this show. With it being April Fool's Day, I'm going to be a little bit more skeptical of this one. But he says, I have a good friend of Romeo's dad. He says Romeo is coming back next year. We'll announce on Tuesday.
You're a butt.
That's tomorrow.
No way.
That's tomorrow. We'll find out.
Not buying it.
April Fool's.
Not buying it. Not buying it.
And he also says, rumor of Cal leaving, Brooks to transfer to IU. That's definitely April Fool's.
He's got them all. He's pulling them all out now. Yeah, he's pulling all the stops out. Yeah, I don't expect to see that, but you never know.
Yeah.
Could it be true, or is it April Fool's? We don't know. Hey, hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Thoughts, comments. Don Fisher's going to be on the show today, as always. Last visit of the season, that is, though. Drew Davis from Peaks.com is going to join us as well. Plenty to talk about. How about those games? And now who's the favorite to win the Final Four, man? Who is the favorite to win the Final Four? I got to tell you, this is another thing that's great about this is I don't think there's any clear-cut favorite. Now, had Duke gone into it, they would have been a clear-cut favorite, obviously. Not that it would have mattered, because obviously they can be beat. They've been beaten multiple times this year, and they just got beat. So having a favorite is not really relevant. But the fact that all four of these teams, to me, are looked at as just completely equal, as they should be, as they are all lower seeds except for Virginia.
Well, and
that's going to be interesting. My pick's Michigan State.
I think you've got to go Michigan State. I mean, they've got the leadership, they've got the talent. I think you could make a case for Virginia as well. But even Auburn, Auburn are not supposed to be there. They lost their best player. They weren't even supposed to beat Kentucky, and they're there. They play with a lot of heart. They play for Bruce Pearl. Auburn's been a lot of fun to watch this tournament. I would not be surprised if they were somehow able to get it done, and same thing with Texas Tech. It's going to be a lot of fun.
If Auburn can win a national championship without their best player, that would be the nuttiest thing in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Now, you got a lot of other people, though, that are not happy that Bruce Pearl and Auburn are there. if you recall, one of the people that was just indicted, convicted of in the FBI bribery, or the FBI investigation into college athletics, was whom? Chuck Person. From where? Auburn. How do they escape this stuff? And they're in the Final Four.
It's going to be one of those Final Fours that's taken away? Could be.
I'm not saying that there's any problems now, but the fact that they were involved in it, and they've received no punishment, and they're going to go to the Final Four, is that a possibility? What if they did win it? Are they down the road potentially looking at an issue? How many teams were playing in this year's tournament that will get hit with sanctions or something because of this? Potentially Louisville, that was in the tournament, Auburn, who's in the Final Four, LSU, who was in the tournament, Kansas, who was in the tournament. I'm sure there are more, but those are the prevalent ones that come to mind instantly.
And I hate that's where we are in college basketball, the fact that you always have to have that in the back of your mind. What did these teams do to get here? How did they not get in trouble? I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, it is, and I guess but Mike Krzyzewski brought up a great point. The NCAA is not prepared for what college basketball will look like when the one-and-done era comes to an end.
It's true.
It's going to be right at the end of his career. He could stay if he wanted to, or he could ride the one-and-done out and walk away.
Be interesting to see what happens.
I mean, that's something he could do. Yeah. Hey, we got to hit a break.
Yep.
We got a lot coming up here on the show. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat. We're back with Don Fischer and Drew Davis. All that and more coming up in the next hour. Right after this. Stay tuned.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch specials. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati and we all got really happy. Grabbed a bowl of that sky.
And welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat on this first day of April. As we've got a big show planned for you. Jim, we got you today?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, cool. Didn't
Always. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Jim Coyle with you as always. Justin Kalen, high top of Crew Chief's box.
That's right.
Plenty to get to on the show today. Don Fischer joins us as always. This will be his last visit for the season. So look forward to talking to him. Get your questions in, comments, 812-269-6367 if you want to do that. Drew Davis from Peaks.com joins us as well. We'll talk a little transfer action. A lot of transfers going on.
Yep.
A lot of other things to get to. The NCAA Final Four is set. The games this weekend. Indiana sports, we're at it. All over there as well. Let's get to the headlines first with Justin.
All right, here are a look at your headlines, your Daily Hoosier headlines for this first day of April 2019. As Indiana baseball with a good weekend, getting a 2-game-to-1 series win over Maryland, outscoring them 39-11 in the process. As Indiana baseball moves up to 17-10 on the year, 5-1 in Big Ten play. Good weekend for Indiana softball as well, as they get a 3-0 sweep of Michigan State, outscoring them 34-13 as they move their record up to 28-10 on the year, 3-3 in Big Ten play. Indiana swimming and diving also with a great weekend, as Vinny Lanza wins the 100-meter butterfly, as he is the first Hoosier to win that event since Mark Spitz. And in the 3-meter dive, Andrew Capobianco gets it done for Indiana, as he is the first champion in that event from IU in 38 years. Indiana sophomore forward Clifton Moore transferring from Indiana, as will VJ Blackman, the brother of James Blackman Jr. And the Final Four is set for the NCAA Tournament, as Texas Tech and Auburn make their first trip, and Michigan State and Virginia will join them. Those are a look at your Daily Hoosier headlines for this first day of April 2019. For more information, be sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
And thanks a lot for joining us, as I said, on Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you as always. Plenty to get to. How about the NCAA Tournament games? This had to be, for me, in my opinion, this second weekend was the greatest second weekend in the history. Well, in my NCAA tournament history. The second weekend of games, 8 games, and I'd have to go back and look at every one of the score, but the ones that I saw, everyone were just fantastic.
Yeah.
Either down to the wire or in overtime. What a great weekend. They did a phenomenal job. On the seeding this year, you want to be truthful.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun tournament. The seeding certainly was done right. I mean, that's why you got the games that you did this weekend. I said it in the first hour, but I hated it at the beginning of the tournament. We didn't get the upsets, but if you get these good 16 games, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for, good games. And not having those upsets leads to this.
Yeah.
It led to, because of the chalk, there were just a lot of the higher-seeded teams were all playing. As a matter of fact, of these 8 games, the only non-top 4 seed was Oregon.
Yeah.
Everything else was a 1 through 4, which is cool. I mean, it just provided some great games.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw something yesterday, before I forget, that USA basketball fantasy camp. How about that? You can actually go out to USA basketball, and they'll set you up. You can either be a player or a coach, and you can go through the rigors that they go through, whether or not it's a coach or a player or whatnot, and just do the fantasy thing while the USA team is there in like a mini camp.
That's pretty awesome.
It's different. I mean, they had that with baseball. They've done that, a ton, but first I've ever seen it with something like this.
Yeah.
You get to interact with the coaches. I mean, they've had big-time coaches there. D1 coaches there. So, what about the Michael Avenatti situation? That's the attorney. He was an attorney for Stormy Daniels. He's been involved in all kinds of stuff. Auburn 5 seed. There we go. I forgot about that. But he was trying to bilk Nike, extort money out of Nike, about $20 million worth. And he gets arrested. He was trying to extort money from Nike, telling them that he has proof where they have done basically what Adidas was doing. Yeah. But he tries to extort them instead. He ends up getting arrested. What a clown.
Did you happen to see his Twitter rant the next day when he said he was going to come out and expose all of it?
I may have, and I don't remember it. But
yeah, I mean, he basically came out. He laid a lot of stuff out there. His tweets are actually now protected, so I can't see them. But he put a lot out there that may or may not be true, but I guarantee Nike didn't want it out there regardless.
Well, I promise you, because it could be true.
Right.
Just because he got in trouble, that was because he was trying to extort money, but it very well could be true. Andy also texted in and said that Auburn was a 5 seed, although arguably underseeded as the SEC tournament champion.
No.
That's true. They did win the SEC tournament. You had Tennessee and Kentucky in there. They probably were underseeded a little bit when you win what they had won, but they made that late charge. But there you go. So, but yeah, the tournament itself, though, this has been pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, you got a couple people that have never been to the Final Four, so therefore you've got some teams that have never won a national championship before. You've got a mix of even MSU. They're not like a Duke. They've had a lot of success, but they haven't had Duke success. Right. And then, obviously, Texas Tech, Auburn, and Virginia, all three of those, they're kind of just neophytes when it comes to the Final Four. So, mostly new blood with a little old blood. It's been a minute since Michigan State's been there, so it's kind of a cool setup, man.
Yeah,
set up to be good.
It kind of makes
they'll all get a rug.
It kind of makes it easy to cheer for Auburn and Texas Tech. The fact that they've never been there, at least for me, anyways.
Well, there's a large faction, or not a large faction. There is a faction of the Indiana fan base that will definitely just automatically pull for Texas Tech because Chris Beard is a former assistant of Bob Knight. Bob Knight coached at Texas Tech, so there will be some people that just go that route. You're going to have some people that just do the Big Ten thing with Michigan State. Yeah. Then you've got Kyle Guy, an Indiana kid, on Virginia's team.
How fun was that? Carson Edwards, Kyle Guy the other night.
And wait a minute. And then with Auburn, you got Bruce Pearl, who used to coach at Southern Indiana.
Yep.
So a lot of connections. What was your question?
How fun was Kyle Guy and Carson Edwards the other night? Just back and forth.
Oh, my goodness.
That was awesome.
Two Indiana boys, and actually Carson Edwards is not an Indiana boy. He's from Texas.
Yep.
But just knocking it out. Again, another great game. Great games. Just great plays. Just seeing some of these shots. Some of these shots I saw hit. Ryan Klein was one of them. Dude was hit. He was unconscious.
Yeah.
He was. He had a run. He certainly had a run at it.
And those Purdue fans in Louisville were loud. That was almost the game against Virginia was probably a home game for Purdue.
Well, and that's good that they can have those regional type of things. I saw that the Louisville women's team got beat by Connecticut, UConn.
They did.
UConn's going to their 12 straight Final Four, but Louisville was a 2 seed. I mean a 1 seed that gets sent to New York to play with UConn as a 2 seed. Now, how in the hell does that happen? I don't know how they end up with UConn in their bracket because UConn was barely not a 1 seed.
I think I'm more flabbergasted that UConn was a 2 seed, not a 1.
Well, it's because Louisville beat them during the season.
Yeah.
But they only lost 2 games this year. And they're back. UConn back.
Yeah.
They're back to the Final Four for the 12th consecutive year.
It's incredible.
That's crazy.
That's incredible.
Crazy. And Leslie, thanks for the text earlier as well. We appreciate you, as always. Hit us up on the text line if you like, 812-269-6367. Thoughts, comments, questions. Don Fischer's on the show today. Drew Davis will be joining us as well. Talk about a little recruiting. Talk about some of these transfers. I think that's it for the transfers. I'll be honest with you, I was surprised to see Blackman go because, again, usually you don't see walk-ons transfer, but he may be transferring closer to home. He could be going someplace he wants to play, like you said earlier. Who knows? I don't think you'll see any more scholarship players leaving, though. I think that Clifton Moore will be the only one. The only other one I would think that would have even considered it would have been DeBeese Anderson, but I haven't heard anything, so I'm not expecting to see anything along those lines.
Texting the show, Tim texts in, says, was listening to the radio show after the UK loss. Fans were upset, saying how we cannot win. We have the best players. One actually said he called it last year and this year's loss. Can't win with one and done. Fed up with it. Funny to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a good run, a good team run. Calipari's been there for 10 years. They've had a good run. I mean, if you want to compare it to other schools, I promise you, most schools will take it.
Yeah.
They won a national championship. They've been to 4 Final Fours and 9 Sweet 16s.
I'll take it.
What do you think of that?
I'll take it.
I think most people would take that.
Yeah.
See, what happens is once you get to that level, and that's consistent, well, what do you want? More.
Yeah.
It's just natural. You want more. So when you're making the Sweet 16 every year, well, next thing is I want more. I want the Elite Eight. Well, now I want the Final Four. Well, I want a national championship. They want more national championships, as they should. Everybody should. You should always reach higher. You got to raise the bar.
Yep. That's
the whole kit and caboodle, right?
Yeah. And then Tim also texts in and asks, does Jeff Walls go to Tennessee, which has been the rumor here of late?
Would not surprise me.
Is Tennessee a better job than Louisville women's basketball?
Tennessee has won 8 national championships. Yeah. They were the women's program in all of women's college basketball for a long time under Pat Summitt, before UConn came along. And then those two were head-to-head for a while. And then UConn kept going, and Pat Summitt's career was coming to a close. Tennessee's it's kind of like losing Bob Knight, Indiana losing Bob Knight.
Yeah. It's a good comparison.
Big difference in your program. Well, she's won tons and tons of games.
900 plus, to be exact.
Exactly. Hey, we got to hit a break. We got a lot coming up. Drew Davis from Peaks.com is going to join us next. We're going to talk about some of these transfers and potentials coming into the Indiana program. I know a lot to talk about Joey Brunk, and there's all kind of guys out there. We'll see what they can land up with. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat back with more right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Okay, well, back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along here on this Monday. Joined now by our good friend Drew Davis from Peaks.com. Drew, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Doing fine, and just still talking about it and how unbelievably incredible this second weekend of NCAA tournament games were. That probably the best that I can recall. These games were just so well matched and well played and fun to watch, man.
Yeah, there was a lot of great games in this Elite Eight, Sweet 16 portion of the tournament, and often that's not the case. You sometimes you get some mismatches here on paper, but that was not the case this year. As the higher seeds really held, and they were able to make their way to the second round, and when that happens, you usually get some really good games, and they delivered. And it was an absolute blast to watch a couple of those games, including that Michigan State Duke game yesterday, and then the games Saturday as well with Purdue and Virginia. That was another great game, and just on the edge of your seat the whole way. They were that tight, and it'll be interesting to see if you can get two more good games next week.
Yeah, the Big Ten ends up getting one team to the Final Four, Michigan State, probably, along with Virginia. I don't know. Virginia may, I don't know. Both those teams probably have a little leg up as far as odds on to win the national championship, but you can count no one out at this stage. Texas Tech is playing as well as anybody, defensively especially, and Auburn is on fire.
Right. But I agree with you on that. I would probably say that they're going to get handicap favorites. I would take Virginia as the team I think will win. And then the second team I would take would be Michigan State. I think they're playing really well right now. Cassius Winston, he's playing at a very high level, and a good guard play wins games in the NCAA tournament. And he's proven that over the course of these last four games. And I think I'll be kind of surprised if one of those two teams don't end up winning, the whole thing next Monday.
Did Texas Tech win the Big 12 tournament championship?
No. Texas Tech they were upset by, I want to say, West Virginia in a stunning game of the Big 12 tournament.
The reason I'm asking is because I know Michigan State won the Big 10 tournament. Auburn wins the SEC tournament. Then you've got Virginia and Texas Tech, who did not. But a unique group. You've got teams like Auburn and Texas Tech that have never been to the Final Four. Virginia hasn't been since 1984. Even how long has it been since Michigan State's been? It's been a minute since Michigan State's been there.
I don't know exactly how long, but it's definitely been a little bit. I want to say the year that North Carolina won with Tyler Hansbrough and those guys. I do remember North Carolina getting there, and then I remember them getting there when Butler was there that first year as well. But I don't remember them getting back to the Final Four since then.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I'll look that up. But the fact that it shows a lot of fresh faces, basically. You saw the big guys go down. Kansas went down early. Kentucky goes down yesterday. Duke goes down yesterday. The behemoths of the sport right now. The word parity could probably never be more aptly used in college basketball than right now. I mean, it was just a cornucopia of great teams. And the way those games came out and were so tight, you had several of them that went to overtime, and if they didn't, went down to the last second. And not only were they close, they were actually good games. I mean, guys were hitting big-time shots to make these games so incredible.
Yeah, and like you said, there's a lot of parity, and I think that's really good for the game. You often see it, for example, the women's game, where it's kind of top-heavy, and it's not the case in the men's game. It seems like there's so much parity, and it seems like the differences between, some of these teams are very thin, and I think that's what makes it very exciting. I think that's what's made for some great basketball, and I think that's what makes college basketball so great. Is when you look at the NBA, it's kind of cut and dry on who's going to win most of the time, and then in college basketball, it seems like anything can happen in these one-game scenarios.
Absolutely. Looking to Indiana men's basketball now. Cliff Moore, of course, has decided to transfer. Not a big surprise. Kind of expected someone to leave, at least one to leave, and he was probably the most prime candidate for that. Also, it's been announced B.J. Blackman will also transfer. A little surprising there. You usually don't see walk-ons transfer, but opens up another spot for a walk-on, I guess.
Yeah, with Indiana's also picked up a walk-on from Zionsville coming in. And then, with Clifton Moore transferring, that obviously gives Indiana 4 available scholarships. 2 of those will be filled by Chase Jackson Davis and Armand Franklin. So you have 2 available, and with Clifton going, a guy like Joey Bruck from Butler would make a lot of sense, with him being a big man, and he has 2 years of eligibility left, which I think is also a bonus. And if Indiana were to get Joey as a 6'11", big man, he can move pretty well. He can even step outside on occasion, but he really knows how to play inside, and that's something that this Indiana team needs. But if they were able to get him, that would take a lot of pressure off a young Trace Jackson Davis. It also give you some more insurance at the big man spot other than Deron Davis, which I think would be a very, very big addition for Indiana.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I think that if they want Joey Brunk, I think that they can have him. He is an Indiana high school kid. He wouldn't have to go very far to transfer. You usually don't get the opportunity to transfer colleges that are an hour apart. That's usually not an option that someone gets at this level. But it would work out perfectly for Joey Brunk. It would work out perfectly for Indiana, as they can certainly use his services. But I think that is something that is probably going to happen, to be honest with you. But that's just my gut feeling. That is not anything else other than that.
Right. I don't know what will happen for sure, but it's looking, more and more likely, I would say, by the day with Joey Brunk in Indiana. It's just when you're an Indiana kid, you end up going to a different school other than Indiana. I imagine you don't really think about the opportunity to transfer and play for the in-state school, but when that opportunity does arise, it definitely has to be eye-opening. And for Joey, like you said, to be able to get all of that and be 30 minutes from home, that's a pretty good situation. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what he does over the next couple of weeks, but I don't expect it to take very long either.
And another need that Indiana needs to fill, obviously, is that of a shooter. Armand Franklin's coming in, but they need to add more firepower, in my mind, if they want to get relevant fast. They have to bring in someone that can shoot the ball. And what are the best options for that? I know Kira Lewis is on everybody's wish list, a guard that they had recruited heavily before he committed to and played at Alabama last year, but he is in the transfer portal now, and everybody in the world wants him, but no wonder, my gosh, he averaged 16.5 points in his freshman season and hit 40% from the three-point line. He's a great get for whoever gets him.
Yeah, and Kyra is also younger because he was actually supposed to be a high school senior this past year when he reclassified up to Alabama.
And I didn't realize that, Drew, until I saw that. That makes his numbers all the more staggering. The kid did all that while he was supposed to be a senior in high school. Crazy.
Yeah, with Kyra, I'm not so sure how likely it is for Indiana to get him. I would say it's probably going to be a longer shot. But obviously, if you have a connection with a player of that caliber and he's transferring, you might as well shoot your shot and go after him. I think that's kind of what Indiana's doing there. But he was terrific. 6'3", can handle the ball a little bit, good speed. Got a good shot. He'd make a huge difference and answer a lot of questions. We'll see if Indiana's able to get any traction there. Long-term traction. But that's a guy that's definitely one of the best players that I would say is in the portal right now. But in terms of shooting, that's something that I don't think we have a clear answer for it would be the guy they take to address that need, because there's guys like Harlan Beverly and Lester Quinones and Indiana sitting there floating around with, but those are kind of not looking the greatest, but not looking bad per se. You just got to see some more movement over the next couple of weeks with those two, and we'll see if Indiana is able to get visits with either. I think that will go a long way in telling people where Indiana's at with those guys. But another guy that I think Indiana's going to look at, I don't know what they're going to offer, but from Ben Davis is Jalen Wyndham. Jalen he had a very nice senior year, 6'4", 6'5", good length. He can score the basketball, a good defender. Can put it on the floor a little bit, plays hard. Played on Indy Heat with Trace Jackson Davis and those guys over the summer. He's a guy that Indiana will have to decide if they want ultimately, but he's a guy that in year 3 or 4 of his college career, he goes to a school like Wisconsin or somebody like that, and he's making a huge impact, and people are saying, God, why don't we have that kid? And that's the type of player he is. He won't be an immediate impact, but in years 3 or 4, he could give you a lot.
Yeah, Indiana has got to bring in a shooter. I don't think that they have an option there. Devontae Green will be back, and he's the best three-point shooter they have on the team right now. I don't know how good of a shooter Armand Franklin can be in his freshman season, but I don't think it's fair to rely or count on that. I think that they're going to have to, whether it's through the JUCO route or a grad transfer or whatever, but they're going to have to do a hell of a lot better job they did than they did with Evan Fitzner through that route. But they have to bring in someone that can shoot the ball if they want to have success next year. As we saw this year, they don't succeed without somebody shooting the ball well, which very few teams can.
Right. There are some challenges to tap into the grad transfer market when you're at Indiana. It's harder to get grad transfers in Indiana than it is at other schools. So that's something to keep in mind, just because you want a guy. There's not necessarily, they may not necessarily line up with all the requirements that have to be met. So that makes it a little more tricky there. But, if Indiana's not able to get a good grad transfer and there's not a guy out there that's going to help them, I wouldn't be surprised to see them, stick with what they have and develop their own and try to get those guys better and improve their ability to shoot the ball. But, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because I don't think they're just going to take someone for the simple fact that just take someone that they think is going to meet their needs.
Absolutely. I think that got them into trouble, the team into trouble before in years past by doing that. But it's something that they definitely have to get on. And I think that they're under a little pressure because, number one, they've got to have a shooter. Number two, they went out and got one last year and failed. So there's some pressure there. There's also the pressure of following up this season with a successful season. There's going to be pressure on Archie's shoulders next year. There was a little bit this year only because you had a lot of a small faction of Indiana's fan base were vocal about questioning him, which I think is ridiculous this early on. But he's going to have that kind of pressure next year. That's going to grow. He's going to have some success. And to have some success, you have to have the players.
Right. And, obviously at a program like Indiana, the magnitude of everything that goes on is times 100, and that's just what comes with it. And for Archie, we cut a little bit this last year, like you said, but, it was year 2, so it's probably more so the minority of the fan base, I would say. Year 3, you're going to want to see a step in the right direction. At the end of the day, I don't think it's a make or break year. I think that happens in year 4, and I think that's the year that Indiana is really on track with their roster to be a pretty good team, And with a couple pieces in 2020, they're in with and having a good chance with. It bodes well for the future roster construction and what Indiana could be in year 4 of Archie Miller's era. Year 3, I think there are some more unknowns. I do think that team, as it's constructed right now, could be better than people think it would be. Just because I think they could be a group that look on paper they don't look as good as this past year's roster, but they end up outperforming last year's team. But we'll have to see on that. But I do think the best course of action is Indiana needs to develop some of their own guys and continue to make them better, and that would go a long way in answering a lot of the questions that they currently have.
Absolutely, but that's something that they're going to have to get shored up, and it'd be interesting to see how they end up doing that. The pressure that will come along with next year is real. How do you expect to see that, Matt? With what we saw this year through social media, which again was ridiculous, mostly with people who don't know what they're talking about, who have no idea as to what they're talking about, but yet they have the license to just type away. That's going to get a lot more vocal next year if success does not come. If next year what happens to be like next year, this year, what's going to happen then?
You know, I don't think it. Like I said, I don't think it's make or break, but there will definitely be pressure mounting. There'll definitely be some, a lot of voices you hear, complaining and whatnot. But I just don't think that Indiana, from the administration perspective, is gonna, if Indiana's right there on the cusp of the tournament on the bubble, I just don't see them parting ways with their coach after 3 years because, obviously you'd have to start over. You need. I'm a big believer of seeing the course, letting the coach do his thing over time and build a program instead of making a knee-jerk reaction. You think about a lot of programs that they start to get impatient or somebody like that, and a good example of it. I know Rick Barnes was at Texas for a while, but I believe he only missed one tournament a long span of years and. Texas got a little restless, and they ended up running Rick Barnes, and Shock Sports not exactly been, great there, and you end up in a situation like that where Rick Barnes is killing it in Tennessee, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side. That's an example of that there, but, I've always been a believer.
That's a great example.
You got to stay the course.
It's a great example because what was Tennessee before Rick Barnes got there?
They were struggling. They were still kind of looking for that kind of rebirth from, 8 years ago or so when they were the number one team in the country competing with Memphis, those guys. But, that's just exactly what happens whenever, fans start to get restless and dictates to an administration what's going to happen. And it just depends on the strength of the administration and the firmness of their commitment to the head coach. And at the end of the day, me personally, I'm not a believer in, jumping the gun and making a knee-jerk reaction, but that's just something that we'll have to see engage in time.
I agree with you. I think that I think things should be okay. I think that each year is going to bring a better year because you're going to be a little closer to that culture that you're trying to implement being implemented because you'll have a third year. You're going to have less players from the previous regime, more of your own, more people that are coming in under the same mindset that you are. And if people don't understand that is huge and critical, then you need to because it is. It's invaluable. You could ask any coach. They've got to get in and make their own changes. And Archie has to be given time to do that. And he has to be allowed to bring the guys in that he needs.
Yeah, that's exactly like a huge part of this. And if you're a head coach, you're going to want guys that are on the same page as you. You're going to want guys that kind of think like you. You're going to want guys that have the vision that you have for the program and are willing to bust it every single day. And for Archie to go out and find some more guys like that, I think it just kind of, like you said, it just kind of spreads the culture even more across the roster. Gets guys in the right frame of mind, and when you have more guys that are on the same page with you than are not, then that kind of leads to change because when you have a bunch of guys that are thinking like that, it kind of can influence their peers that they may not think like that within the locker room. But it's absolutely huge for Archie to continue to build, continue to stack classes, and get his own guys in there.
Absolutely. Drew Davis from Pigs.com. I can't thank you enough. I look forward to talking to you on Friday. We'll see if anything happens between now and then.
All right. Sounds good, man. I look forward to talking to you then.
Sounds good. Drew Davis from Pigs.com. Brought to you by our good friends at Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. Let Doctors J and Roger Reynolds take care of your families. They've been doing so for over 30 years for Southern Indiana families. Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg, 809 South Indiana Avenue. Let them take care of you as we'll get Justin taken care of as well.
That's right.
Hey, we've got a lot more coming up here on the program. Don Fischer is going to join us next. We'll put a bow on Indiana's season as our last visit with Don comes up. We'll get to all that and more. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat back with more right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
And welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. here on this Monday, first day of April Fool's Day, but unfortunately this is no fool. We've got our good friend Don Fischer joining us, unfortunately for the last time of this season. But Don, thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate it.
You bet.
A lot of people wonder what Don does after the season's over. He's got a little apartment down in the bowels of Assembly Hall, and he goes into hibernation and protect that golden voice for the next 5 months.
No, actually, I do start looking forward to playing golf, and I think most people know that. So
good. We don't have to hide that. That's great. And the weather's about to get there. It keeps teasing us. They had snow in Bloomington over the weekend, Don. That's not very good golf weather.
No, it's not. I was looking forward to this past weekend. Went to spring football practice on Saturday, and I was hoping to get out Saturday afternoon, but there was no way with the rain and kind of the sleet and the stuff that came down on Saturday evening, and then that washed out Sunday. And we did, at least the sun came out Sunday, so that was a good thing, but it didn't come out with any kind of warm temperatures. And you know, it's one of those things, you just kind of play it by ear. When you get an opportunity to get out, you get out to play, and I played 9 holes so far, so at least I've gotten out on the golf course.
There's a start. That's a start. Did you get a chance to watch any of the NCAA games over the weekend? This second weekend was one of the best second weekends I can remember in a long time as far as the quality of these games.
Yeah, there were tremendous ball games over the weekend. There's no question about that. Almost every game was one of those that was really exciting to watch and went right down to the wire. I mean, literally almost every ball game was like that. The second round, I think, was the worst round. I mean, you saw the dominant performances by a lot of teams in that second round. But past the Sweet 16, it's been really, really good, and there's no question. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, some heartbreaking losses for a lot of teams in this event, not the least of which was the Purdue loss this past weekend. But what a great basketball game that was. It might have been one of the best basketball games I've ever seen. That was just an unbelievable performance, without question.
Yeah, both of the Purdue games were actually incredible games. The Tennessee game was a great game to watch, fun as a fan, and of course, this game this weekend as well. It also should give. Yeah, go ahead.
Needless to say, Jim. Needless to say, my bracket got busted some time back. So
yeah, I was doing good until
State
a while. But
I do have Virginia and Michigan State in the Final Four, but obviously I don't have either one of them winning it. So my bracket's been gone for some time.
Yeah, I have nothing in the Final Four. I know I lost 3 out of 4 games on one of the 4 days. I was like, I said, it's over for me. I'm out. I'm done. But the worst thing is I lost 3 out of 4 games, and I moved up a spot. That's how bad it is.
Well, I get into it just for my own personal gratification or masochism, whatever you want to call it. I don't really get into any contest, but I do want to see if I've got any line on anything that's going on, and apparently I don't. So,
yeah, I think none of us do. Some solace for Indiana fans is the fact that Purdue played so well, almost making the Final Four, and a team Indiana nearly beat, probably should have beat at home at least. And then you got Michigan State, who they did beat twice, who is, to my mind, one of the teams that's got, well, obviously a good chance, but a very good chance to me of winning another national championship.
Yeah, they do. There's no question. They're playing terrific basketball. Cassius Winston has just been absolutely phenomenal all year long. And it's a ball club that, as you point out, Indiana beat twice during the season. And there was a chance that they would have played them a third time had they beaten Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament, when a chance it would have happened. But obviously that would have been unbelievable had Indiana beaten them 3 times during the season. But let's face it, Michigan State for a long time under Tom Izzo has been one of the best teams in the country, and they continue to prove it year after year. And that particular group has surprised, I think, a lot of people because they don't seem to be the most talented team in the field, but they play so well together. It's a ball club that has some real toughness about themselves, and without doubt, Indiana has to take a little pride in the fact that they were able to knock them off twice. And
I think that's also that they should take solace in knowing that Indiana, they're not that far away. It's just a player or two or a play or two here and there that the way things are going, that they can get the program in a direction that I know a lot of people would like them to see it.
Well, there's no question that this team has had its problems this year, a lot of it caused by the injury issues throughout the season. I don't think there's any doubt that that's played a big factor in this team's struggles. But there is a confidence factor that this team lost during that early part of January where they did not play very well. They kind of lost heart for a while there, and two different occasions, of course, they were able to bounce back with those wins over Michigan State, which I think kind of cued them into getting back to the way that they were capable of playing. I don't think there's any doubt that the Minnesota ball game at Minnesota, in which Indiana played so poorly and without effort, energy, or the competitiveness you like to see from a basketball team, I think that particular game changed the season for this ball club. That's why they got on that little hot streak at the end. They had two losses after that ball game, but both were really competitive matchups. And then they won 4 straight ball games before they got knocked out by Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. But this team's biggest issue, outside of the fact that they struggled with their mental side of things during the season, was the fact that they couldn't shoot from outside. And there's no doubt that has to get fixed if Indiana's to take the next step forward next year, whether that's through just work and effort and constant shooting practice on their own, or whether that's with new faces. And obviously there are 2 new faces already that are coming in. Armand Franklin, of course, 6'4" guard from Cathedral High School in Indianapolis, and Trace Jackson Davis from Center Grove High School down in Greenwood. Those are 2 guys that have already signed national letters of intent. They will be here next year. Obviously, Trace Jackson Davis is 6'9". He's more of a post-type player without question. That's something that's needed as well, with Juwan Morgan being graduated. And this is a ball club that still isn't done in that regard. As everyone knows, Clifton Moore has decided to transfer, and that may not be the only guy out of this group that decides to do that. We don't know for sure. We don't know one way or the other, but there's a very good possibility that there could be others. And, of course, Romeo is still up in the air in regard to what he plans to do as far as the NBA is concerned. So we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out, but it'll play out here pretty quickly here in the next couple of weeks to decide exactly what Archie Miller still needs to do to change this roster or to move this roster along. But I still think the biggest issue with this basketball team has got to be the fact that they've got to learn to shoot from outside or become better outside shooters and give themselves a chance to open up the floor more and to become a different basketball team from an offensive standpoint, because we saw terrific improvement on the defensive end of the court all season long.
Absolutely, and I know they have the guys there. They can do it. Obviously, Devontae showed himself to be a really good shooter, especially as the season progressed. We know Al Durham can do it, but he's got to get to the point where he can do it on a consistent basis, and they're going to have to get that out of the point guard, Rob Finney, as well. As they go forward, they're going to have to get scoring from all those guys to improve and be the best team they can be.
And the other aspect of it, too, is you've got a couple of guys who didn't contribute this year or didn't contribute much. Obviously, Jerome Hunter, who was the second best recruit in that class, that's last year's freshman class, who literally did not play the entire season because of a leg problem, and what that means to him and to his career at this juncture, we still don't know. We know that they're trying to get him back into playing condition and all those kinds of things, and whether that leg reacts properly or not, we'll just have to wait and see. And Race Thompson, a kid that basically lost most of the season because of a concussion after the second game of the year, suffered in practice. It was a severe concussion. He was missing until mid-February after the early November injury. And he was a redshirt kid that actually had gone through the process and everything, and then that all went away because of the injury that knocked him out of even practice for well over 2 months. So it's a ball club that was flawed because of the injury issues. Obviously, Deron Davis has got to get into better shape. Devontae Green had the thigh problem early in the year, and then had the 3-game suspension that he dealt with. It's just one of those things. This team just seemed to have something go wrong on a consistent basis throughout the season. When everything got well, then something else happened, it seemed like. But it's a ball club that I think can make some tremendous strides next season if they work at it, if they go through the off season with the right framework mentally. And no question, they've got to get. I think Al Durham's biggest problem, just from a shooting perspective, is the fact that he just needs to get stronger. He's one of those guys that's kind of a wiry guy. He just isn't as strong as he needs to be to take the pounding and all those kinds of things, and the number of minutes that you need to play to be a full-time starter, that type of thing. So, again, it's a ball club that still has great potential. I don't think there's any question that Archie Miller is the right man for this job, and we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. It's just going to be an interesting off-season.
Absolutely. I couldn't say any better myself. You hit on all the points. We'll certainly see how it plays out, and we'll certainly see what they do to fill these holes. That's going to be an interesting point. Don Fischer, we can't thank you enough for joining us throughout the season. We look forward to it. We're going to miss you during the summer, but I hope you have a great golf game.
Trust me, I hope that too.
We look forward to seeing you out there. I look forward to it. Don, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate being on your show, and hopefully we can do it again next year.
Absolutely. Great Don Fischer, the voice of the Indiana Hoosiers, joining us as he does each Monday. We'll look forward to getting that back next season. Looking forward to that, Justin. Certainly going to miss that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the insight Don Fischer provides each and every week is second to none, no question.
Well, it's just always enjoyable to hear his takes. Yeah. They're always a little different, and he always has a different aspect. I mean, he's got a little closer into the program than a lot of us do. So,
right.
Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Tomorrow on the program, of course, Chronic Hoosier will be with us. Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier as well. Plenty more to talk about. For all that stuff, thanks a lot for joining us today. For Justin Kalen, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio. Yeah.